Good morning. Welcome to the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. I'm Gary Demas. I'm really glad to be with everyone this morning on this nice Sunday in December. And I'm sure everyone is getting ready for Christmas coming up right around the corner. And I just wish you all the best. I know that my wife and I have been preparing, and there's just a lot of busyness. You can drive out in the streets, and it's like there's cars everywhere and people everywhere. And that's not all bad, because otherwise they'd be at home shopping online, right? So we got to keep our good Columbus stores busy here with us coming in and buying stuff. So last week, if you had a chance to listen, I was speaking to Brad Pope and Susie Street. They're from the Moen Faucet Company, and that was a very interesting conversation. If you missed that, you can go to davefoxradio.com. And there you can actually listen to the show, or you can watch it as well. We have a videotape of the show. So if you go to davefoxradio.com, there you can either listen or watch our previously broadcast shows. So again, we were talking Moen Faucets, and they have some new items out. One that's very cool is a water monitoring system on your home that will actually monitor your water and let you know if there's a leak. Or if you leave on vacation, you have the peace of mind of knowing that you will be notified through your phone if you have water issues in the house. So that could save the day. So I'm having one of those put in my house actually this next week, and I'm excited about that. So as always, we love to hear from all of our listeners. You can email us at info@davefox.com, and there you can ask any questions about what you've heard on the shows, or maybe you have ideas of a topic that you would like us to cover. We'd be happy to take a look at that. Today, I've got John Seymour with me. John, good to have you here this morning.
Thanks, Gary. Nice to see you.
Yeah. So, John, we've known each other for a number of years. We've seen you at trade shows and stuff over the years, and you've been in the window business a long time, I know. So, John, you're with APCO now.
Yes.
And why don't you just explain to our listeners a little bit of your background and how you got to APCO and what you're doing there.
Sure. I went to college. I went to Columbus College of Art and Design, had a degree in industrial design, went into the military, came back, and my mother-in-law, ironically enough, was running a window company in Columbus. And she guided me to a sales position and kind of swung the hammer through the years as well. And that company left Columbus, and I had always known the Clarkin family. And I came over to APCO going on about 14 years ago.
Okay.
Great family company.
Yeah.
I love working for these guys. And they kind of do everything in the exterior home remodeling business that you could think of.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you were in the military.
Yes,
What did you do?
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
Ran out of college money. Had to go in to help pay for that.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, thanks for your service in the Navy.
Oh,
Appreciate
no
that.
problem.
Yeah. So you've been with APCO quite a while now, and what did you start out doing at APCO?
I came in as a sales rep, and as the years went on and I crept up in age, I really had an interest in coming in-house and going over to the production side. And I've been in the siding and gutter production side now.
Okay. Yeah. So siding, that brings back memories with me, because when Mark's been on the show, we've talked about, I go way back in siding, back in the 70s and 80s when aluminum was the king. Yeah. And vinyl was just kind of coming on the market then.
Well, when APCO was first named, the APCO stood for Aluminum Products Company.
Yeah.
And Mr. Clarkin was one of the first guys selling replacement aluminum siding here in Columbus. And as that technology disappeared, we're now called Architectural Products Company and handle most of the exterior products now. Yeah.
Yeah, so that goes back a ways, the old aluminum days, and then vinyl, and of course siding has changed a lot over the years, hasn't it?
Sure, yes.
Yeah. So I don't imagine aluminum siding is much of a product mix anymore for you guys.
Not too often. When there's a windstorm or a hailstorm, we'll catch ourselves doing perhaps one side of a home or a repair.
Yeah.
Insurance kind of drives that market, but we used to have quite the stockpile out back of several sizes and colors, and I think we stock white 8-inch siding now, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So it's a disappearing technology.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned hailstorms, and I know that a lot of aluminum sidings, the color kind of fades over time. And I imagine trying to get a color match can be challenging.
Yeah, it makes it tough to work through the insurance claim where some insurance companies will pay to have one side replaced and then paint the other three sides to match the new stuff.
Okay.
Or they'll pay to have one side replaced and pay to have that side painted to match the rest. But it's just getting now to where insurance companies are pretty much giving an entire home of vinyl to replace the aluminum.
I see.
It's a little more, makes more sense to do it that way to protect the home instead of tracking down the old profiles that are not readily available anymore.
Yeah. With all the damage hail does, I'll bet insurance companies really dislike hailstorms.
They do not like them.
When you think of the siding and the roofing, the shingles.
Yeah, it's through the years when I was a young man, I got excited when there was natural disasters.
Yeah, it was more work for you, right?
As an older
more
guy,
sales.
It's more work, and it becomes labor heavy tracking down and working with adjusters and things along that line. But it's a blessing in disguise when there's a windstorm or a hailstorm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, John, explain the transition. So, because you were out selling windows and what I'm not sure what all that you sold.
Well, when you come to APCO, your experience level is what dictates what products that you have access to.
Okay.
I came from a heavy replacement window background and kind of learned the roofing and siding and gutters and soffit work. And APCO doesn't call their sales reps, they call them project managers. So as you prove your merit in each division, you have more access to the products that you're allowed to sell. And, you think some of the smallest things like gutters actually requires some of the more extensive knowledge and training to do a small product like gutters. So they want you to understand from the ground up to in order to design it well and install it well. You're responsible for that job. From the moment you run that appointment to the last nail that's getting pounded in, you have to know the entire project.
Yeah, when you speak of gutters, and I think of, depending on the location and maybe the grade and the drainage from a listener's home, the gutters can be the difference between a flooded basement and a dry basement, can't they?
Correct.
In certain cases.
Yeah, with the gutter work, there are guys today who, discount it as one of the smaller investments in the house. The president of our company and just APCO in general really values the gutter performance on a home. It does keep your house dry, safe in the basements, dry in the basement. And a lot of homes, I was once told through the 80s and 90s, were actually designed to take bigger gutters, but very few companies own the gutter machines that could make the larger gutters. So many homes carry a design with 5-inch gutters that really should have larger gutters and larger downspouts. So it's, we probably produced 400 to 500 gutter jobs a year, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs a day going like that. So there's a need for it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you mentioned, there's like some engineering involved. You got to evaluate how much roof square footage is draining into that gutter, and can the downspouts handle it, and the tiles that they're going into. There's a lot that goes to it.
Correct. Yeah, the downspout size, the gutter size, the sloping of the gutters, containing second floor gutters into lower gutters. A lot of homes were designed to disperse water onto roofs, which damage shingles and stain them. But you really do have to understand water and get trained on it. And a lot of guys take for granted the knowledge that our gutter division has to have in order to hang gutters.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of homeowners that are faced with the cleaning of leaves and debris out of gutters, because, that seems to be a constant challenge, especially if you are in a lot that has a lot of trees on it. You've got the leaves and tree debris getting in there, clogging gutters, and then causing trouble when you get the next rainstorm. So, John, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, I want to talk about some of the solutions for that. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. Really glad to have everyone listening in this morning. And I'm sure you're all thinking about Christmas right around the corner and getting ready for that. It's a little over a week away. So guys who are procrastinators, you better get out there and take care of the wife and the family. Of course, my wife, usually the family's, my wife usually handles all that stuff, but I got to take the initiative and get her what she wants. And sometimes I can dream up some really cool things on my own, but that doesn't happen that often. I usually am asking her what she wants. So just wish everyone well and getting ready for the big holiday coming up. And all the football games that are going to be airing. That'll be exciting. So today I'm talking with John Seymour. And John, you're with APCO, and I appreciate having you on this morning. So John, in the first segment, I know we were talking about gutters, and we're going to get to the debris that needs clean. I know a lot of our listeners are curious about maybe some solutions for that. But before we do that, you were talking a little bit about being in the sales background and how you kind of made a transition here in APCO to more of the production side. So give me a little more insight on that and, what that difference is to you and how you feel about that.
It was challenging at first.
Yeah.
As a sales guy, you have the mentality of make the sale, you turn the sale in, and a lot of sales reps in the industry feel that the job magically gets produced, and you don't understand the steps and all of the different ways you have to look at a job once you produce it versus selling it. Mm-hmm. With the title of being a project manager at APCO, they do ask us to stay with that job from the moment you sell it to the end. But coming in-house and learning the different processes from, the moment that deal hits your desk, of all the different vendors that we work with and all the different hands that touch that job, from the warehouse guys to the trucking to the delivery guys to the crews picking up to getting it to the job site. It was eye-opening to look at it from the other side of production. Mm-hmm. And it's just been great. I've often thought that letting a sales rep see this side from the moment they start selling would make them a better sales rep in the end.
I agree. Yeah. It's interesting because in every business like ours, if you're out there in construction, you've got the sales department and the production department. Maybe you've got a design department. But there's always a tension between sales and production, right? Because the salesperson can go in and promise that client the moon.
Right.
And the production team now is left with delivering that, right? And sometimes they don't appreciate some of the things that are sold to a client.
Both sides equally will say, without us, this job would not exist.
Yeah.
And without us, this job would not exist. But the synergy between the two divisions is so important, and the closer those two get together, the more smooth that job goes for the homeowner.
Yeah. So now you, having been from a sales background, now are in the production side, and you understand the sales thinking and what they're thinking, and I'm sure that really helps to bring that synergy together because you've seen both sides of the equation.
Sure. And I've seen people who transition to production come from the field. Mm-hmm. They were actually folks that swung the hammer and have come into production, and I've seen it from the sales side coming into production as well, and both have equal value.
Yep.
But the language and the salesman's perspective, it really is important that I can guide them and help them, and we've gotten better as a company on how to sell jobs, producible jobs from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it's been a great transition. I really like it.
Yeah, that's great, because really the client is the one that wins, because then the sales team is communicating accurately what the production team is going to do. They're not kind of raising expectations beyond reality. And that's so crucial, I think, on the sales side, because we don't want our clients to be disillusioned with what they end up with. We want whatever was promised to them, we want to deliver that plus some and make them feel good at the end of the project, right?
For sure, yeah. The first 2 or 3 months, I started my sentences with, when I was a sales guy, and I had sales guys repeat back to me, when you were a sales guy. So, now that I'm in there and we have the mutual respect of one another, that I was there and I understand where you're coming from, it really has made things, our production level is much higher and more efficient, and it's just been a win-win for the company.
That's great. Great, John. Okay, so let's get back to now the gutters and the debris, because I know I've got my home has really high eaves, and I've got a big, heavy 40-foot ladder, which is a monstrous thing to try to handle by myself, and I can barely do it and probably shouldn't be doing it. But to get up high on those gutters and clean them out can be a real chore, and it's something that's easy to put off, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I know they need clean. I sure don't want to set the ladder up. How do I handle this? I wish there was a way to avoid it. What would you recommend to our listeners that are facing that?
Well, there's been an argument on gutter guard versus no gutter guard for years.
Yeah.
And sometimes safety drives whether or not you do this. Cost may drive it. Since being at APCO, we've probably, out of our wholesale division, represented 5 to 10 different brands of gutter guard through the years. Mm-hmm. Some based on something better is better than nothing principle. Mm-hmm. Other things were more high-end price points that, but I found there's no perfect gutter guard based on the pitch of the roof, the tree species that's fallen into it. So APCO really has a good, better, best mentality. Mm-hmm. And, when you look at what we use, you do have to look at how it gets installed. Is it being sold out of necessity? There are some gutter guard companies, more of the franchises, that some folks get quotes for $7,000-$8,000 to do an average home, where we could be $700-$800 to achieve the same job. So the solution that we're at now is, I think, does a good job. It carries a great warranty on it. The guys can install it fairly easily. Mm-hmm. And in the end, if you're buying gutter guard, the ultimate thing you're shooting for is to not be cleaning your gutters. Yeah. And it does its job.
Yeah. Yeah, I assume over some length of time you're going to need to clean them, right? I mean, it's not like you can go 20 years.
Yeah, they are removable if you need to get in there. Sometimes shingle debris could get through there. The idea is the small stuff gets in and washes out. Mm-hmm. Keep the major stuff out of there. And one of the products we sell now is not visible from the street. Some folks would get gutter guard, and it just didn't look residentially appealing to the eye when you look up there. Mm-hmm. But we have stuff that really works, and we take care of it and have a great warranty on it.
Yeah. Now you mentioned like different pitches of roofs or different trees and what kind of debris they're going to be shedding. So when you guys or talk to a client about gutter guard, do you have different types that you might recommend, or is there one that kind of fits all of them?
Well, we have a product that goes under the shingle. It's called Greater Gutter Guard. And as the pitch of the roof increases, the effectiveness of that gutter guard works less well.
Okay.
It creates kind of a ramping situation. Sometimes there's flat roofs, slate roofs, just high certain tree species like honey locusts, pine needles that will clog up other brands and other versions of gutter guards. So when the sales rep walks up to the home, he's able to analyze the roof pitch, analyze the tree species around. We typically will price them all and let the homeowner pick what they think is best based on our recommendation.
Yeah. And I assume if a client needs all new gutters on their home, that's the best time to do the gutter guard as well, right?
For sure. You're actually rewarded financially for not having 2 visits or having to clean out the gutters in order to do the gutter guards on there. Right. So if you do it new, the cost per foot makes more sense to do everything at once.
Sure, that makes sense. And in terms of gutters, I know there's all kinds of colors, and I'm sure there's different shapes and stuff. So maybe if someone's thinking about gutters on their home or feel like you need them, we're going to take a quick break. John, after that break, I want to kind of touch on the different colors and different sizes available. And then let's get into some siding talk. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're glad to have you all listening this morning at the Dave Fox Home Remodeling Show. I'm Gary Demas. Really glad to be with everyone this morning on this December Sunday, getting very close to Christmas. So, John, we ought to have a little Christmas music in the background.
Yeah.
You want to just sing us a tune while we're at it, or?
My customer service rep in my office started playing Christmas songs, I think, Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so it's in our office for sure.
Yeah, okay. My wife loves to hear the Christmas music, even before Thanksgiving. And I'm content to wait a little longer than that, but you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about gutters a lot. And in case you just missed the last segment, we were talking about the cleaning issues with gutters and gutter guards. And so that's a good discussion that we had. If you missed that, you can always go to davefoxradio.com, and there you can hear this broadcast or previous broadcasts, and you can also see them in video. So we invite you to do that. So John, talking about gutters, and we'll wrap the gutters up and get to siding here in a little bit, but if someone's thinking about gutters, obviously color is a big deal. The exteriors and the look of an exterior of a home is very important today. I think more so than I've ever seen it. Curb appeal, making sure that all the colors, textures go together and it looks like it was well designed. So what are some of the options that a client might be looking at?
So APCO does OG style, which is the profile, seamless gutters. We pull the truck and trailer right up to your home, and they make them right on site. And we carry 6 stock colors.
Okay.
And what I found in the industry, most guys carry 1 or 2, go buy the small mini rolls when you start introducing custom colors, and that makes the cost per foot go up when you have to buy the mini rolls. So we stock 6 colors, and it does account for probably 80% of our sales, but then we use quality aluminum, and they have about 25, 30 extra custom colors that are available to us. It's a small upcharge to get some of the custom colors, but some homes based on historic areas may call for half rounds or the copper style gutter or a box gutter. That's something that APCO doesn't do. We do the seamless OG style. Okay. And most residences have that style in their home now. Yeah,
for sure. We very rarely get into box style gutters or the half rounds. Occasionally we do. As a matter of fact, I've got a project right now down in Victorian Village where we'll be using some half rounds just because of the historic.
Yeah, a lot of the commissioned areas require that as their stipulation.
Yeah, but as you say, that's pretty rare. Almost all homes today now have the OG style gutters, and 5-inch or 6-inch, right?
Yep, that's the 2 machines that we have and that we can make right there on site for you.
Yeah, and a 6-inch gutter can handle a lot more than a 5-inch, can it?
Yeah, it handles more volume, but the mouth also projects open an inch wider, and based upon the shingle length, the pitch of the roof, the design of the roof, heavy valleys and U-shaped entryways and 90-degree corners just aren't designed to, like I said, most homes are not really designed to have 5-inch gutters. That's just what was available.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so if any of our listeners are wrestling with gutters or water kind of just dumping over the side of your house during a thunderstorm or having issues with leaking in the basement, they should call you guys up. And how can they reach you, John?
APCO we're located centrally downtown. You can reach us at 614-224-2345. We also can be reached. APCO.com is our email address, and the central location really allows us to work around probably about a 50-mile radius around Central Ohio is where most of our work is.